Hello there, my name is Solmaz, and you are listening to Tabling Thoughts podcast. In this podcast, I talk about my experiences as a relationship coach and psychotherapist. The little things that I noticed in my clients' day to day lives, which may affect the quality of their lives and relationships enormously, and for some reasons, they don't pay that much of attention to them. As I mentioned, I'm a relationship coach and I also practice as a psychotherapist in Ontario, Canada. In order to get more information about me, you may check my Instagram account, YouTube, or my other podcasts via the links in description. You're listening to the 28th episode of Tabling Thoughts podcast, which is recorded and published in April 2025. And the topic we are diving into is when success doesn't feel like enough. You move to a new country, you get the degree, you land the job, you start the family. You check every single box that society told you to do so. And then one day you pause and you realize something still feels missing. You might even feel guilty for feeling this way. You tell yourself, I should be grateful. I have so much. But here is the truth. Gratitude and emptiness can coexist. And that's not called failure. That's reality. Success doesn't always equal peace. Sometimes it just equals more noise. I see this all the time in both men and women. Men who have built careers, gained status, provided security, but still feel emotionally disconnected from themselves. And women who have cared for everyone else, who have shown up for their families, their communities, and yet still feel unseen, unfulfilled, and numb. It's not that they have done anything wrong. It's just that the version of success they were chasing was never complete. We have all been conditioned to define success in external terms: money, titles, approval, image. But what about emotional success? Most of us were never taught how to value that. Especially as immigrants, we tie success to survival, to proving that we are good enough, that we belong, and that we made it. But here is the part no one talks about. What comes after survival? No one taught us how to rest, how to feel safe in joy, how to just be. And when we do try to slow down, it feels so uncomfortable, even triggering. Because we are so used to chasing, we don't know what to do when we finally arrive. That arrival moment, it can feel empty, not because we failed, but because the version of success we have been chasing was never a full picture. And that's the paradox. When having it all still doesn't feel like enough. Have you ever felt like that? You look around and ask yourself, why am I still not fulfilled? If you have felt this way, you're not alone. And you're not ungrateful. You're just human. And maybe you're waking up to a deeper layer of awareness. That's where the real work begins. Not in building more, but in connecting more. Here is what I have noticed, not just in my clients, but in myself too. Sometimes achievement becomes a way to avoid what we are really feeling. We stay busy, we stay productive, we chase the next goal, but underneath all of what we're doing is a part of us that is just exhausted emotionally, mentally, and even spiritually. We use our accomplishments to silence the parts of us that feel unworthy. We tell ourselves, if I just succeed more, maybe I won't feel this anxiety anymore. Or if I stay busy, I won't have to deal with this grief, this emptiness, this loneliness. My friends, this is exactly what I call emotional bypassing through achievements. It's not done intentionally, it's survival, especially for immigrants, for men who were told feelings are weakness, and for women who were taught good girls give, they don't ask. We learn to translate our pain into productivity, to turn our sadness into silence, our anger into control, and our fears into checklists. And from the outside, it looks like we have got it all together. But inside, there is a quiet ache that no one sees. Because achievement doesn't soothe emotional wounds, it just delays their voice. It's like building a mansion on a cracked foundation. Eventually, the pressure builds, and we either burn out or break open. That's why so many people feel empty at the peak of their success. Not because they're living wrong, but because they have never felt safe enough to slow down. They were never taught how to sit with pain without rushing to fix it. So here is the real question. What emotions have you been covering with busyness? What parts of you are asking to be seen, not solved? Because healing doesn't start when we do more. It starts when we allow ourselves to feel more. Now let's talk about something I call success fatigue. It's that slow, quiet burnout that creeps in when you have done all the right things, but the joy never quite lands. You keep building, keep achieving, keep improving, but somehow it's not just enough. You tell yourself, maybe just one more project, one more goal, one more win will finally make me feel whole. But instead, what shows up is tiredness, a strange kind of soul exhaustion, because constantly trying to prove your worth through performance is deeply draining. And most of the time, we don't even realize we are doing it. So here is a journaling prompt that might help bring it to light. Question: what parts of me am I still trying to prove worthy? Sit with that. Let it stir something. We are so conditioned to chase milestones that we forget how to enjoy moments. Fulfillment isn't something you arrive at, it's something you feel along the way. You don't have to wait for a career peak, perfect body, or a resolved past to feel good. You can start by noticing joy in tiny everyday moments. The sound of your child laughing, the quiet when someone's asleep and you finally have a moment to just be. That one friend who texts you, I'm proud of you. These micro moments matter more than we think. They don't always look like success on Instagram, but they're real. They're often where the soul feels most alive. Here I want to speak to the masculine part of your personality. That part of your personality, the masculinity, probably never thought that emotional awareness is a skill. You might have been told to man up, stay strong, or just fix the problem. But here is the truth. Learning to feel deeply is not weakness. It's emotional leadership. The more you understand your emotions, the more you can show up in relationships, in fatherhood, motherhood, and in your own healing, the more you will connect deeply with yourself, and the more you can emotionally lead your feelings, and the more you can emotionally be in control of your feelings. Strength isn't about never breaking down. It's about being present with what's real, even when it's uncomfortable. Start small, just name what you feel without judging it. That alone is a massive shift. Now I want to speak to your feminine part of your personality. My dear, you're allowed to receive. You're allowed to rest, to say, I need without apologizing. So many women I work with are powerful, capable, giving, but they have been wired to believe that their worth comes from doing, fixing, giving, and receiving feels selfish. But it's not. It's a radical act of self trust. Letting someone support you, letting life to be soft for once, that's not weakness. That's healing. Try this. When someone offers help, just say thank you instead of I'm fine. That one shift can open a whole new relationship with your own values. You do not have to earn peace. You deserve it. And last but not least, here is my main challenge for you. Take one day, just one, and don't fill it with tasks, calls, cleaning, emails, or proving anything to anyone. Let it be about presence, not productivity. It doesn't mean you sit in silence all day. It means you move slower. You notice, you feel, you check in with yourself. You eat slowly, walk mindfully, maybe even cry if something's being sitting on your heart. Presence invites clarity, and clarity brings peace. Because ultimately, the kind of fulfillment we are longing for, it doesn't come from just doing more. It comes from finally being with ourselves. So if any part of this episode resonates with you, just know you're not broken. You're definitely not alone. You have done so much. You have carried so much. Maybe now it's time to shift from proving to feeling, and from chasing to connecting. Fulfillment isn't found at the top of a checklist. It lives in the quiet and honest moments when you let yourself just be. You don't have to keep running. You can breathe. You can rest. And you're still worthy right here, exactly as you are. My friends, thank you very much for being here. I really admire the time and energy you spend to listen to podcasts like Tabling Thoughts and to work on yourself. If this episode touched somewhere in you, I would love it if you shared it with someone else who might need to hear it too. So until next episode, be kind to yourself. You are doing it beautifully.